This is not financial advice, not legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only, and anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. Listen, these bad actors who are naked shorting the entire United States stock market, except for probably Berkshire Hathaway, are terrified of the cat system, and they're using their political influence in order to get the SEC to shut it down. The cat system has found billions of errors exposing fraud and corruption all through the entire stock market. The SEC knows it, the DOJ knows it, the FBI knows it, and instead of utilizing this tool to end the fraud and corruption, what they're trying to do is shut this tool down so that the world doesn't see all the fraud and corruption, all the counterfeit shares, all the spoofing, all the washing, all the shenanigans that these bad actors engage in to rob retail investors, to rob pension funds, and to rob institutions that follow the rules. It's absolutely crazy that you could have a tool that's exposing all this fraud and corruption to the tune of billions of fraudulent transactions, or as they like to put it, billions of errors, yet they want to shut it down. That's like you're in law enforcement, okay? You're in law enforcement, and you get the crime report, and because you don't want anybody to know about all the crime that's being reported, you tell them, don't report any crime to me anymore. Shut down the crime reporting in this district because the crime is out of control, and I don't want anybody to know that the crime is out of control in this area. The fact that the SEC is even considering shutting it down tells you that the SEC is complicit in the fraud and corruption. Okay? If the SEC wasn't complicit in the fraud and corruption, they would not be considering shutting down the cat system. They would be promoting the cat system. They would be telling us, look how many errors it has found. What a great tool to combat fraud and corruption in the United States stock market. But that's not what the SEC is doing. The SEC is looking for excuses to shut it down to hide the fraud and corruption in the United States stock market. And everybody knows what they're doing. The politicians know. The DOJ knows. The FBI knows. FINRA knows. DTCC knows. And all these bad actors are on board. Because somehow this so-called smart money, who has all the rules bent in their favor, and not just bent in their favor, they made the rules. They made the rules so they can have an undue influence, an undue advantage over retail investors. And when the rules that they invented that are bent in their favor doesn't work their way, they start robbing and stealing. And when that robbing and stealing is about to be exposed, they call in their political favors to shut it down. And that's what they're doing with the cat system. If you look at sports, remember when these guys were swimming in these suits and the suits gave them an unfair advantage? What did they do? They banned the suits. You can't swim in those suits. There were certain Nike sneakers that they said gave them an unfair advantage. And guess what? Those shoes were banned. Yet somehow, in the United States stock market, the rules that give these criminals an unfair advantage, they're not banned. They're promoted. And when they are caught breaking the rules, they want to get rid of the system that's exposing them. Tell me how that's a fair and transparent stock market. Tell me that's a SEC, a DOJ, or FBI that's looking out for the market or looking out for retail investors. We are only going to see justice when their liquidity runs out or when one of the active lawsuits gets to the discovery phase and they're forced to start turning over the trading history and the blue sheets. And then I believe the SEC, the DOJ, and the FBI are going to be shamed into doing their job. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think the SEC is being pressured to get rid of the CAT system because it is exposing all the fraud and corruption of these so-called smart money? Anyway, have a great day. God bless, and I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.